Hi everyone, thanks for joining us here today. Today we'll be talking about applied AI and adding intelligence to enterprise applications. We have with us here Deepu, who will be answering some questions for us. Deepu, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here, Joseph.
So, we often hear from tech leaders about the mixed feelings that they have when it comes to AI. As a leader in the space, how do you feel, and why do you think people hold such ambivalent views when it comes to AI?
You're absolutely right in highlighting a sentiment that is so common among business leaders today, Joseph. On one hand, business leaders see the immense potential with AI, the productivity gains, the ability to generate data from insights that they, in a manner that they could never do before, the improvements in effectiveness that they foresee with AI. But on the other hand, they're also asking themselves, well, is this for us? Is this the right time for us to get started? And I believe there are two main reasons for this. On one hand, when most leaders envision AI projects, they typically think about large moonshot projects that not only require a great deal of financial investment, but also carry high risk and add to this the constantly evolving and changing technology landscape on AI. So they really don't want to jump into it just yet. And on the other hand, you have all these products and services that are labeled as AI or AI enabled. But when you really look into these products, you realize, or these services, you realize that AI doesn't really add much value there. And that has led to some amount of skepticism about AI and a bit of a trust deficit there. But then, in spite of all this, I think it's really important to really cut through the hype and to find ways in which AI can make a meaningful difference to the workplace. And I don't think that you can sit and wait on the fence any longer. You have to get started.
So, a lot of leaders perceive diving into AI as a huge financial investment. Is this always true, or is there any way to get into AI without spending so much?
The key is to reuse existing solutions instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. For one of our customers, a business aviation provider, we developed an agent that could help identify traffic surges across the different airports that they operated in. We did this by using data that they already had, by tweaking and retraining existing models that were already available. So we did not have to invest a crazy amount in creating a model of our own. Furthermore, the agent that we developed and that delivered this information to end users plugged into an existing system that they already used. So now staff had access on a transactional system to slightly more information and data that could help them make better decisions. So what we were really doing here was to make a transactional system a little bit more intelligent. So you don't really have to build a system from scratch. With AI, I think it is important to view AI as not as one large strategic investments, but as a series of small incremental strategic investments which done over time can give you the gains that you expect from AI.
So it seems like getting into AI is more about being strategic and leveraging technologies that are already out there. So would you mind giving us some manageable, practical steps that a CEO or CTO might want to take to get into the space so it's not too overwhelming, because it seems overwhelming?
Yeah, I mean, starting from scratch for any business leader, when you get into AI, it can seem very daunting and very overwhelming, you're right. But the key here is to find those small, impactful areas where AI can make a difference. It is not about overhauling your entire system, but rather finding ways to augment what you already have with AI so that you can make your transactional applications a little bit more intelligent. You can start by asking a few key questions. I mean, where is significant amount of time being spent? What areas are our staff finding really, really difficult to handle? Which processes could be a bit more efficient? What do our customers wish that we did more of? For example, we worked with a customer in the legal industry where their staff were overwhelmed by the tedious and time-consuming task of collating and preparing documents as a part of case prep. We developed multiple machine learning agents that were plugged into different parts of this process, each of which helped with different activities, all the way from analyzing or discovering case documents, analyzing them, converting them to the right formats, and then collating them together in the right way to prepare the case file, reducing the time that they spent on case prep from an average of 40 hours to about 4 hours, which is significantly high. Another use case that is really ripe for AI is internal and external customer service. Creating a simple chatbot that had access to all HR policies and HR documents helped more self-service among employees, reducing the time that HR spent on answering these questions by about 90%. So the aim is to start with straightforward projects like these because they allow you to learn and to test things with minimal risk. You'll see how AI integrates with your existing systems and processes and how AI can augment the applications and the processes that you already have. You will also understand the changes that you need and to data and to data management as well. And over time, these small projects can cumulatively improve operational efficiency because when you think about it, what you're really doing is methodically removing pain points, one role at a time, across your entire organization. And in doing so, you're improving cost efficiency, you're increasing effectiveness, and most importantly, you also have happier and more engaged employees.
So now as companies begin this journey to integrate AI, it's obviously important for them to keep in mind the risks that come along with doing so. So what do you think some of these risks are, and how should companies navigate these risks so that they're not only successful, but secure and responsible in doing so?
That's a very good question, Joseph. Running and managing an AI project is very, very different from the processes and the systems that you would use and the approach that you would use to create a transactional software application. AI by its very nature is probabilistic and not deterministic. And what that means is that you have to try out different models, different approaches, different services before you find something that works for you. And once you do that, you have to tweak it and maintain it and make sure that it's generating the results that you really want it to. And this requires a different mindset, which is closer to an R&D project than to a regular IT implementation project. Sometimes you might discover that you don't have the data that you need, or even if you have the data, maybe it doesn't have the features that you're really looking for. But it is important to know this sooner rather than later. Then, like any IT project, there are risks with information security, with privacy, and with the technological landscapes changing so frequently. And this is where customers really appreciate the transparency and the honesty that we bring into the engagement around timelines, around expectations, around value, and around the ROI that they can expect from what they're investing into the project. So we have robust processes for delivering AI projects that help us mitigate many of the common risks and many of the common pitfalls that you often see with AI. Ultimately, we know how this works, so we are able to help our customers cut through the hype, calibrate their expectations, and deliver ROI as quickly as possible.
Well, thank you so much for your insight, Deepu. We covered a lot today, from risks to use cases to investments. And I hope for our viewers we've taken something that may have seemed overwhelming before and made it a little bit more digestible. So thank you.
My pleasure.